Hello and welcome to the Activator Field Podcast, the show that empowers you to wake up to your full potential and remember the powerful woman you've always been. Stay with me, and once a week, I'm going to share on this channel powerful strategies to take your life to the next level. You can achieve your biggest goals and dreams, and I'm here to support your journey. Hi, I'm Paula, known as the Consciousness Activator Queen, and I'm here with you to help you raise your consciousness, gently guide you to awaken your divine power and activate the limitless potential that's already inside you. In every episode, I am revealing ancient wisdom, powerful stories from my life, a life of experience, and an original perspective about challenges. I'm about to share with you practical techniques, show you how adversity can be turned into opportunities, and how you can become the one you've always dreamed to be, and, much more. Stay with me because you found me today for a reason. You are not here accidentally, but because you're ready for an upgrade. So, ready? Then let's go!
Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, looking in the mirror, and, realizing you have spent the last 3 decades meticulously building someone else's dream.
Oh, man. That is a heavy thought right out of the gate.
Right. But, you operate on this totally rigid timeline. You're trading 5 days of just exhausting labor for maybe 2 days of frantic recovery.
If you can even call it recovery, honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're living under what feels like this permanent, immovable, dark cloud. And according to the raw notes and the audio scripts we are examining today, that is actually the silent, waking reality for up to 80% of women over 40.
Which is just a staggering number when you really stop to think about it.
It really is. So welcome in. If you are listening to us right now, go ahead and pull up a chair because you are the third person in today's conversation.
We are so glad you're here. We've got some fascinating source material today.
Yeah, we are diving into a deeply provocative set of foundational documents from a creator named Paula.
Right. We are looking really closely at her personal manifesto, which is a document titled Why I Created This Podcast.
Plus her private notes, right?
Yeah, her notes for what she describes as an interactive podcast experiment. And these sources, they basically provide a roadmap out of that exact dark cloud you just described.
Which so many people need right now.
Absolutely. Paula is presenting this highly specific blueprint for radical self-transformation. And she's leaning heavily into concepts that kind of challenge our basic assumptions about how reality itself is constructed.
Our mission today is to really unpack that blueprint. We're going to explore how she balances the cold, efficiency of modern technology with that desperate human need for genuine connection.
Because that balance is so tricky to find.
It is. And we're going to critically examine her claims about literally rewriting the rules of the world around us. So, okay, let's unpack this. I want to start with the actual audio format Paula is experimenting with.
Oh, yeah, the medium itself.
Yeah, the medium she chooses to deliver her message, I think, reveals the absolute core of her entire philosophy.
It really does. In her production notes, Paula details this fascinating structural pivot. Like, she initially launched her audio project using artificial intelligence support.
Right, to generate a conversational two-person format.
Exactly. And she appreciated the engagement, the structural utility of AI. It was helpful. But for the specific experiment we are looking at, she just abruptly abandoned the simulated dialogue.
Just completely dropped it.
Yeah. She decided to deliver the content entirely solo, using only her raw, unfiltered voice.
And she made that pivot because she actually listened to the feedback from her immediate circle and her broader audience.
Which is rare for creators sometimes, honestly.
Right, but they explicitly told her they wanted a direct line to her. They didn't want an avatar. They didn't want a polished synthesis of data. They wanted her.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
real person behind the microphone.
And Paula makes this really poignant observation about the era we live in, right? Information is just a totally commodified, abundant resource now.
Oh, yeah. You can pull up Google or YouTube and find the tactical steps to do virtually anything in seconds.
Exactly. The deficit in our society is not information. The deficit is the human touch.
What's fascinating here is the deliberate boundary she draws around technology. Like, she embraces the structural power of artificial intelligence to, organize thoughts or format content.
Use it as a tool.
Right, as a tool. But she is militant about reminding the listener that AI possesses absolutely zero lived experience.
Oh, totally. It cannot feel the exhaustion of a 40-hour work week.
No. And it cannot feel the profound relief of breaking free from it either. She insists that while a machine can perfectly mimic the cadence of empathy, only a human can actually transmit it.
I love that distinction.
Yeah, every story, every vulnerability she shares, she says it has to originate from a biological beating heart to have any real transformative power.
I always look at this through the lens of a kitchen.
Okay, kitchen. Walk me through that.
Right. Well, think about the fundamental difference between pulling up a highly optimized, SEO-driven recipe for chicken soup on your phone versus standing in your grandmother's kitchen while she physically cooks the exact same meal for you.
Oh, wow, yeah. That is a completely different vibe.
Right. The online recipe is pure data transmission. It gives you the precise sodium levels, the temperature, the boil time, and, hey, it gets the job done.
Sure, you get soup at the end.
But your grandmother's kitchen involves the smell of the garlic hitting the pan. It's the way she, improvises with a pinch of salt. It's the decades of family history embedded in the process.
That is such a great analogy.
Paula is looking at the podcasting landscape and basically deciding she refuses to just hand out recipes.
Yeah.
She is demanding that the listener step into the kitchen with her.
And that craving for the authentic over the synthetic, it doesn't stop at her audio formatting.
No, it goes way deeper.
It bleeds directly into this massive, sweeping critique of modern society. Paula takes the exact same frustration she feels toward artificial content and applies it to the artificial constructs of our daily lives.
The Matrix, basically.
Yeah, she explicitly labels the combined forces of our educational systems and the corporate world as a matrix. And she says it is designed with the specific function of keeping people numb, powerless, and operating in this perpetual zombie mode.
And she gets incredibly granular about the mechanics of this matrix, too. She points to the 40-hour work week as the ultimate unfair exchange.
Unfair is putting it mildly, honestly.
Right. We have completely normalized trading 5 entire days of our peak physical and mental energy for a measly 2 days of freedom.
And even on the weekend, the exhaustion is just so profound.
Yeah, those 2 days are entirely consumed by basic life maintenance, doing laundry, getting groceries, trying to catch up on sleep.
There is zero bandwidth left for self-actualization or discovering what your heart actually desires.
None at all.
And she traces the architecture of this exhaustion all the way back to early childhood conditioning.
Oh, the school system critique.
Yeah. In her view, the modern school system is not an institution of enlightenment. It is a systemic grooming process.
A grooming process. That is a strong way to phrase it.
It is, but she argues we are taught to be overly disciplined, to prioritize external validation over our own internal intuition. We literally wear uniforms so that any jagged edges of individuality are just sanded down.
Make everyone fit the mold.
Exactly. The entire pipeline is designed to make us serve other people's economic dreams. And the ultimate bait they use is this illusion of safety.
Oh, the promise of retirement.
Right. We are promised that if we just secure a stable job, blend in, suppress our desires, we might be allowed to retire at age 70 with a pension that barely keeps the lights on.
Okay, I have to push back heavily on the framing here, though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Because using the word matrix, that implies a shadowy cabal of architects deliberately pulling strings to keep the masses subjugated,
Like villains in a boardroom.
Right. I really struggle to accept that our societal structure is this malicious, deliberate trap. Isn't it far more likely that this is just the chaotic, accidental inertia of a highly industrialized world?
You mean like a hangover from the past?
Yeah, we adopted the 5-day factory schedule a century ago during the Industrial Revolution simply to keep assembly lines running. And now we are just stuck in the rusted gears of a system nobody knows how to turn off.
That's a fair point.
Believing in a deliberate matrix almost feels disempowering to me because it turns us into victims of an invisible villain.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture of Paula's philosophy, the distinction between a malicious cabal and accidental inertia kind of completely dissolves.
How so?
Because the origin of the cage does not change the reality of the bars. Whether the system was designed by villains or by accident, the psychological conditioning it requires to sustain itself operates the exact same way.
Oh, I see what you mean. The effect on us is the same.
Exactly. Paula's focus is on the internalization of that conditioning. The tragedy isn't just that the 5-to-2 ratio exists. The tragedy is that we willingly defend it as the only safe way to live.
You cling to it.
Yeah, she views the pursuit of the safe, secure job not as a rational economic choice, but as an implanted limiting belief that literally strips away our original powerful identity.
That actually brings us right back to the statistic about this 70 to 80% of women over 40 feeling trapped.
Right.
She is speaking to a very specific demographic pain point. These are women who have spent decades fulfilling crucial, demanding roles. They have been dedicated mothers, supportive wives, totally ruthless businesswomen.
Doing it all.
Doing it all.
Yeah.
They have literally created human life and sustained entire family ecosystems. Yet they wake up at 45, look around, and realize their entire identity has been completely consumed by the acts of serving, managing, and surviving.
And the dark cloud she describes, that's the sudden, crushing realization of that disconnect.
It's the moment it all hits you.
It is the moment you understand that you have successfully played a game with rules you never actually agreed to in the first place.
Wow. Yeah.
And the true insidious nature of the system, again, whether accidental or deliberate, is that it keeps you so perpetually drained that you lack the cognitive surplus required to even question the rules, let alone rewrite them.
But the good news is, Paula does not leave the listener stranded in this existential dread.
No, thankfully. She offers a way out.
Right. If society is this hypnotic state keeping us asleep, she introduces a highly specific, almost mechanical portal for waking up. She calls this mechanism the activator field.
Yeah, the activator field.
Yeah.
She introduces this as a dormant state of conscious awareness. It's a fundamental inner force that already exists within every human being.
Waiting to be turned on.
Exactly. And when accessed, it overrides the subconscious programming of the matrix. She marries this concept directly to the law of attraction, and more specifically, the law of assumption.
And she is super serious about this.
Oh, she is uncompromising on the physics of this. She does not present these laws as abstract spiritual concepts or like New Age wishful thinking. She insists they are undeniable, absolute laws of the universe.
She literally compares it to the law of gravity. Like if you walk off the edge of a 10-story building, gravity is going to pull you to the pavement.
It doesn't care what you think about it.
Right. Gravity does not require your belief, your understanding, or your permission to function. It just happens.
Yes.
And Paula argues that the law of assumption works with the exact same ruthless consistency. Whatever internal frequency your thoughts and assumptions are vibrating at, the external reality will perfectly mirror it.
And the distinction between the law of attraction and the law of assumption is super critical in her framework.
What's the main difference there?
So attraction implies drawing something outside of yourself toward you, like a magnet. But assumption, which is a concept popularized by that mid-century mystic Neville Goddard assumption, requires you to mentally embody the state of the wish already fulfilled.
Okay, so you don't just want it, you act like it's yours.
You do not hope for a new reality. You assume the psychological posture of a person who is already living it. The activator field is that mental threshold where you just stop reacting to the external world and start directing it through your assumed state.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because Paula does not just theorize about this. She brings an itemized list of receipts from her own life since she activated this field 7 years ago.
And it is quite a list.
It's wild. She points to a free house, a 5-star, all-inclusive holiday in Cancun, unexplained money just appearing in her bank account,
Incredible.
a diamond ring, a luxury watch, free tickets to a Michael Jackson concert, a Bahamas cruise, and honestly, the most brilliantly grounded item on the list, a literal van of food delivered free to her house.
That eclectic mix, going from high-end jewelry to just basic groceries, it really demonstrates the indiscriminate nature of the law she's applying.
Right.
The universe, in her view, it does not categorize a diamond ring as hard to manifest, and a van of food is easy.
It's all the same to the universe.
It simply matches the frequency.
It makes perfect mechanical sense when you think of it like tuning an analog radio dial.
I love that analogy.
Like the radio station broadcasting the reality you want. Whether that reality involves a new house or a van of groceries, it is already broadcasting.
The signal is out there.
The signal exists in the airwaves right now. You are not tasked with building a radio tower and generating a new signal from scratch. You simply have to turn your internal frequency dial to catch the broadcast.
Yes.
But if your thoughts and assumptions are rigidly tuned to the frequency of 98.5, which let's say is the frequency of exhaustion and debt, it is physically impossible for you to hear the music playing on 101.3.
And Paula preemptively addresses the cynics here, right? The people who will look at her list of luxury vacations and free houses and just label it all as mere luck.
Oh, she hates the word luck.
She forcefully rejects the concept of luck entirely. In her framework, believing in luck is just another symptom of matrix conditioning.
It's an excuse.
Exactly. It's a psychological defense mechanism we use to avoid taking responsibility for our own power. If someone's success is just luck, then you are off the hook for your own misery. You're just a victim of a bad dice roll.
Calling it luck surrenders your agency completely. Paula views her manifestations as repeatable science. It is, in her exact words, knowledge lovingly applied.
I love that phrase.
Yeah. She operates on the premise that we enter this world as immensely powerful entities capable of shaping our environments. But the educational and corporate systems systematically train us to forget that capability.
We just get amnesia.
The gap between those who are thriving and those who are struggling under the dark cloud is not a gap in luck. It is a gap in memory. Some people have remembered how to turn the radio dial, and some haven't.
This naturally forces us to examine the practical mechanics, though. Like, if we accept the premise of the matrix, the existence of the activator field, and the physics of the radio dial, how does an individual actually begin to turn that dial?
Right. Give us the steps.
The transition from theory to practice relies on one singular, non-negotiable requirement for Paula: clarity.
Clarity.
She repeats this like a mantra. Clarity is the key. You absolutely cannot hit a target that you refuse to see.
Which really exposes the deepest psychological barrier for most people. I mean, if you ask the average exhausted worker what they want, they will just give you a list of what they don't want.
Oh, absolutely. I don't want to commute. I don't want this debt.
I don't want to feel tired.
Uh,
But tuning a radio dial to not 98.5 doesn't actually tune you to a new station. You just end up in the
it's
static.
endless static.
Paula demands that you identify the exact coordinates of your desire, whether that is a secluded mansion, pristine physical health, or a specific type of romantic relationship. And she grounds this in a quote from author Wayne Dyer. If you want things in your life to change, you have to change things in your life. A concrete decision must be made.
And the stakes attached to finding this clarity are not superficial. They really aren't. Paula reveals a profoundly personal crucible in her notes.
This part really got me.
She states that stepping into the activator field and changing her internal frequency literally saved her life. She claims this process allowed her to heal from a deadly disease in a span of just 3 months.
That revelation shifts the entire tone of her message. We are no longer talking about manifesting concert tickets or optimizing a podcast format. We are talking about fundamental biological vitality. We are talking about survival.
Yes, literally life or death.
And to explain how we must approach this level of transformation, she uses the airplane oxygen mask procedure. Put your own mask on before assisting others.
Right.
Now, I know that metaphor is a massive cliche. We have all heard it in 100 different corporate wellness seminars. It usually induces an eye roll at this point.
It is an exhausted cliche, for sure. But Paula utilizes it because it perfectly illustrates the neurological reality of her target audience. When the oxygen drops in an airplane cabin, hypoxia sets in within seconds.
You don't have time to think.
No. If you try to help the person next to you without securing your own airflow, you will pass out, and you both suffer. Paula is speaking to women who are chronically hypoxic in an emotional and spiritual sense.
It's suffocating.
They're suffocating under the demands of their families and careers, yet they continuously try to fix everyone else's problems. So she uses the cliche to force a hard stop. You must become whole, conscious, and fiercely selfish about your own clarity first.
Yeah.
Because if you do not heal yourself, you are entirely useless to the people you love.
So what does this all mean for the messy reality of our daily emotions? Because Paula talks extensively about maintaining a blissful state, feeling good, and never worrying.
Which sounds great, but
Right. But she simultaneously promises to teach her listeners how to turn negative emotions into power. If the law of assumption requires us to embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, what do we do when we wake up furious at our boss?
Or terrified about a bank statement.
Exactly. How do we utilize negative emotion without accidentally tuning our radio dial to the frequency of disaster?
Well, she treats negative emotion not as a failure, but as data. Paula actually challenges the toxic positivity that demands we suppress our anger or our sadness.
Just ignore it and smile.
Right, because suppressing a negative emotion is just storing it in the body, which she says pollutes the activator field entirely.
It requires a sort of emotional martial arts.
Ooh, I like that. Explain.
Well, in a physical confrontation, if a heavier attacker rushes at you with full force, rigidly blocking them will result in a broken arm. You don't match force with force.
That makes sense.
Instead, you step aside, grab their wrist, and use their own momentum to throw them onto the mat. Paul is suggesting we do the exact same thing with a negative emotional spike.
Use the momentum.
Yes. When you feel that intense frustration about your life, you don't fight the frustration or feel guilty about having it. You use the sheer kinetic energy of that anger to pivot.
Oh.
The anger provides extreme contrast, showing you exactly what you do not want, which instantly clarifies what you do want. You redirect the momentum of the dark cloud to propel you toward clarity.
This raises an important question for anyone listening who feels stuck in the gears of the system. Like, how much of your chronic fatigue is born from actual physical labor, and how much is simply the neurological exhaust of living a life without a clear, self-directed target?
Wow, that's the real question.
Paula synthesizes her entire worldview with this profound inversion of how we categorize ourselves.
Right.
She states, we are spiritual beings having a human experience in a physical body, not physical beings having a spiritual life.
That forces a total recalibration of identity.
Completely.
We spend our lives treating the physical world, the commute, the paycheck, the physical illness, as the absolute bedrock of reality, hoping to occasionally squeeze in a tiny moment of spiritual peace on a Sunday afternoon.
If we're lucky.
Right.
But
But Paula demands we flip the hierarchy. The consciousness is the bedrock. The physical world is just the screen the consciousness is projecting onto.
And when you adopt that premise, escaping the 5-day work week or healing a deadly disease is no longer about fighting against an immovable physical reality.
It's an internal shift.
It becomes a process of remembering your origin. You are not a powerless drone trying to learn a complex new skill. You are pure consciousness, systematically clearing away the toxic conditioning that convinced you otherwise.
We have mapped out a truly expansive terrain today. We began by looking at Paula's refusal to hide behind an AI voice, prioritizing raw, vulnerable human connection in an increasingly synthetic digital landscape.
And we followed her critique outward, really examining how the educational and corporate systems function as a conditioning mechanism, trading our vitality for the illusion of safety and trapping millions under a cloud of exhaustion.
And then we broke down her undeniable physics of reality, the laws of attraction and assumption, and how the activator field allows us to tune our internal radio dials to completely different frequencies.
Leading to incredibly tangible changes, ranging from physical healing to a literal van of groceries.
Exactly. And we confronted the harsh mechanics of application, the absolute demand for clarity, the necessity of securing your own oxygen mask before attempting to save your family.
And the martial arts required to redirect the momentum of your own negative emotions.
Ultimately, the reason this matters to you, listening right now, transcends whether you fully buy into the physics of manifestation. Even if you remain a strict materialist, the foundational instruction here is absolutely vital.
Yeah, you have to wake up.
Reclaiming your identity from the grind requires you to stop moving, break the hypnotic loop of your routine, and answer the hardest question of all: what do you actually want?
Because information, as Paula proves, is utterly useless unless it is embodied and lovingly applied.
You cannot just read the recipe. You have to light the stove.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with a lingering question for you to mull over as you step back into your day. Based on everything we've explored about the mechanics of assumption and the power of clarity, if you were handed a blank, legally binding script for your life tomorrow, with the absolute infallible guarantee that the universe would assume whatever you wrote to be undeniable fact, what is the very first sentence you would write?
Listen, if something shifted inside you during this episode, even just a little flutter of recognition, that's your soul saying yes. Don't ignore it. Subscribe right now. Share this with that woman in your life who's barely holding it together, but pretending everything is fine. You know exactly who I'm talking about, because you know it. The truth is this: when you give, it comes back to you 100 times over. And if you're sitting there thinking, I need more of this, like now, I've got you. Check the links below for my free resources. They are yours. Take them. And if you're ready to go all in on yourself, my 7-day mindset and body reset is waiting for you. Let's upgrade your nervous system, rewire those old patterns, and activate the higher version of you that's been waiting way too long. You don't have to figure this out alone anymore. Everything you need, it's already inside you. You just need to remember. So please subscribe, for you, not for me. Stay with me, and together we can awaken the world. I'm Paula, and I'll see you in the next episode.